So now we talked about pelvis sway. What would, we talked about the slicer that gets too far back here and then hangs back. What about a guy that fights hooks?
Right, so a guy that fights hooks would naturally, it would be interesting. If I saw and that's what's so nice about having the club delivery data right there. If I saw an excessively outward path, that was a right-hander, rightward path.
Okay.
And I saw that coupled with a whole bunch of pelvis sway toward the target, I would go, well, there you go. And we see it in the avatar if we had the full body again. So if we turn back on the backswing and we give you a little excessive sway, there we go right there. Not as much turn yet, not as much turn yet. We're going to see the left knee stay bent perhaps too long, right? Now, the weight's going to be really heavy on this ball of the left foot now. Now, what I want you to do is I want you to try to turn from there through the ball.
I got no shot.
Yeah, right? So
Nothing.
excessive right side bend. I can't turn out of the way. My delivery of the club's going to be way out to the right. I'm going to suffer with fat shots and thin shots,
Sure.
and thin I can take, fat stinks.
Right.
As I'm doing that, I'm getting an excessively rightward path, but when I get stuck here because of all this sway, the club face is going to shut itself early.
We're looking at path 5 to 10 degrees to the right.
And a face that's actually negative.
Yep. Very high handle rotation.
Yeah.
Handle twist
That's
velocity.
forehead high left shot.
So you're talking about that look.
Yep. No good.
Stuck, what Tiger always referred to as being stuck.
Yeah. And I think stuck has nothing to do with being stuck. It has to do with not moving properly.
Sure.
You know, it's
So, thrust.
So now thrust is big. Thrust is, if we go face me again, thrust is away and toward. Now, I know what you guys are seeing there. Go ahead into your address position. So the interesting thing is, when we go back to the top of the backswing, sometimes I have a student yesterday doing this. Can we do that one more time? And he's now thrusting toward on the backswing. Yeah, not standing up, but thrusting toward, getting way out on his toes. So he started a certain distance from the golf ball. Within the first couple feet of the backswing, he is now closer to the golf ball.
Sure.
What kind of shot are we going to hit? That's a shank.
Yep.
That's a shank coming right away. And then we get him to maintain a little. In fact, I had him so here is a case of hands-on instruction once again. Turn this way now so you're behind us to me. So now I'm doing this number.
Yeah.
Come on. There you felt something totally different there, didn't you?
Oh, yeah.
Right? So again, who's doing the work? He is, not me.
Sure.
Big difference.
Right.
You know,
So you got him to almost load into his right hip a little bit more, stabilize his hips. It's going to feel like he's rotating better.
now you can call it that, but all I just said was this.
Yeah, right.
You know.
Again, let him decide. Let him come up with the turn.
And I had somebody yesterday said something I'm like, where did you get that from? But I like it.
Yeah.
It was no relationship to what I was trying to convey to him, but that's what it came out in his sense. I'm like, love it.
Perfect.
That's what we're looking for. So this idea of pelvis thrust, you may be 1 inch toward or away. You start getting into excessive. We got all kinds of problem. Do you ever hit a gear effect fade? That's a ball where you've made a nice draw path, excellent golf swing, hit it 3 dimples toward the heel of the golf club, and it slices. Well, all you got to do is give me a little bit of thrust, and that's what's coming.
Heel moving too close to the golf ball
Yep.
because I've run out of room, right?
Yeah, it's attached, right?
Yep.
I love to do that with people. Get in your address position. Take that right there. Now, all I want you to do is don't move the club, but let it slide. If it wants to move, it can move. Give me a little thrust toward me. That's lift. Thrust here. If the club wants to slide, let it slide.
Right.
It's got to do that.
Sure.
Just like if I had you go backwards, I'll go thrust backward. See?
Yep. Moved away.
That's people getting into that line, that hiney-liney, we call that in the technical world.
Sure. So we've talked thrust, now lift.
Lift. Now lift, I think lift has a minor influence. I have this little sheet that shows, to me, I call it the essential skills of golf. Solid contact, predict the flight, hit it far enough to score. lift is going to do something with club face.
Okay.
But it's a minor influence. But if I'm lifting, the club might go toe down more, which will keep the face effectively a little bit more open.
Handle higher.
Yeah. But the lift is going to be whether we're using the ground and really interacting.
So loading in the backswing and then where we extend in the downswing.
Yeah, and some people, if they're really athletic, they might not load in the backswing. They might load right there in transition and then explode. And then some of your folks are just not going to be athletic to do that. We're going to put a little load in the backswing. There's something about that contraction. If it takes a very short time, I get more out of it. So this is kind of more effective, but guess what?
Right.
You better be quite an athlete to get
harder
away
to
with
do.
that one.
So then the guys that struggle with low point control or consistent contact, they're going to be going this way too early.
Yeah, they're doing, now that's torso lift.
Okay, so
Right.
so you're saying this is more thrust.
That's more of a thrust issue, and a thrust is going to, of course, lift the torso.
Right. Okay.
Right. The different issue, though.
Sure. Gotcha. Awesome. Well, again, we talked about the 6 motions of the pelvis. In the next video, we're going to talk about rib cage motion.